Yo guys, as you can tell by the thumbnail and by the title of this video, I am back with another review, and this time it is the Smackdown After Crown Jewel review. Um, I gave Raw like a moderate 5 out of 5, I think it was, if I can remember correctly. I'm pretty sure it was like in the middle 5 out of 5. Um, I do believe that personally for me, I know a lot of people are saying that SmackDown was a lot better than Raw, apart from obviously the ending that happened on Monday Night Raw. But overall, as a show, a lot of people are saying that SmackDown was just that much bit better than Raw. But personally for me, I enjoyed Raw like overall more than I did SmackDown. So as you can tell by the thumbnail, I did give this SmackDown a 5 out of 5 because I do agree with this SmackDown being a 5 out of 5 because it was on par with last week's SmackDown, but a low 5 out of 5. I personally don't think it's on the same level as Raw, and I personally don't think it's was better than Raw, but definitely wasn't a 4 out of 5 show. Um, Saying that, I didn't really write a lot for this week's SmackDown. I wrote obviously Cody Rhodes' segment, technically 3 matches, if you count the main event as a match, and then the Drew segment that happened before the match. But considering the fact that I didn't really write much that came to last night, I didn't really write much that happened on last night's SmackDown. That's what I meant to say. I still wrote quite a bit for it to be enough for me to give it a 5 out of 5 show. So yeah, do you guys agree with me on it being a 5 out of 5? Let me know in the comments down below. And what was your favourite moment from last night's SmackDown? It's actually kind of nice to say last night's SmackDown instead of SmackDown that happened earlier on today, because that was very, very weird. Like, very, very weird. So yeah, feels better to say last night's SmackDown instead of earlier on. But yeah, hang on guys. I'm back. Yeah. So yeah, I've said, I did give SmackDown last night a 5 out of 5, but personally for me, I would say it was a low 5 out of 5. I do have at some point this week, before I kick on with what happened on last night's SmackDown, I do have a Saturday Night's Main Event early prediction video coming out. Yeah, so look forward to that. That will be out at some point this week. Yeah. Okay, right. We kicked off SmackDown last night with Cody Rhodes. Well, technically we kicked it off with Nick Aldis saying that the main event between Jacob Fatu and Drew McIntyre will be a number one contender match for Saturday night's main event. And then he brought out Cody Rhodes. Cody said that him and Seth will pretty much dance again, that this is not the last time that we'll see Seth and Cody in the ring with one another. Which I'm glad about, because I would love to see Cody and Seth have another match with one another, because every time they've had matches, it's always been a 4/5 out of star match, and they just have really good chemistry. So I would love to see them have another match, another match, another match, another match. So I'm down for them to have more matches. Cody said that Seth needs to handle his business, because obviously what happened on Monday Night Raw with the Vision and the Oracle, and Cody said that he will handle his business when it comes to the main event of SmackDown tonight between, like I've already said, Drew McIntyre and Cody Rhodes, and said that he is ready for whoever wins that number one contendership tonight. And yeah, he spoke a little bit about the QB1 like situation, that he doesn't feel that he's worthy of being QB1 anymore, kind of like similar to that anyway. But didn't really speak much of that. He kind of spoke about that when he spoke about Seth. But yeah, didn't really speak much about that QB1 situation, just very, very briefly. But that was it really. So I did give it like a low 3 out of 5 segment, because I can't give Cody Rhodes 2 out of 5 segments when it's in the ring, because as much as sometimes his promos are quite short, he always delivers like promos like very well, that I just feel like it's not worthy of a 2, because his delivery on promos is always just very decent to excellent. So that's my reasoning for the low 3 out of 5. I think if he had not mentioned anything to do with what happened at crown jewel. I think I would have given it a high 2 because he needed to speak about it briefly because yeah, he did lose to Seth Rollins, one armed Seth Rollins. So he needed to speak briefly about it, but yeah. So did give that segment last night with Cody Rhodes a low 3 out of 5. The first match of the night we had for the world for no not for the world, no, for the women's tag team championship between Zahara and Zolaruka versus Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair, the current and still women's tag team champions. Blake Monroe was there because obviously what happened on NXT with the number one contenders, 20-woman battle royale where Blake came out from behind and attacked Zolaruka. That leading to Zahara. I don't know, never know how to pronounce her name. Zara? I don't know. Eliminating herself from the battle royale to help Blake Monroe. Not to help Blake Monroe, to help Zahara, sorry. So yeah, Blake Monroe was there last night, and she was causing somewhat distractions throughout the match, for Zahara especially. I did feel though, considering that Blake was there, everybody had a good showing and we got a pretty decent 10-11 minute match, maybe even longer match between those four. And yeah, everyone I felt had a good showing in this match, and it was a very, very decent women's tag team match to kick off the show. And yeah, I did end up giving it a high 3 out of 5. We had close call to the Soul Satcher. Soul Satcher. And then when they were fighting and brawling outside of the ring, Blake caused a distraction that Soruka came over to her, and then Charlotte kind of heelish in a way, but it's Charlotte Flair. She does what she does to win. As the commentator said on commentary, she went directly for Zoruka's knee, dragged her into the ring, delivered the figure eight. She got out of that, delivered the figure eight again, and then eventually Zolruka tapped out. And as I've already said, Charlotte and Alexa retained the Women's Tag Team Championship. Again, like I've said multiple times, in a very, very decent tag team match. I would definitely love to see them have a rematch, considering the fact that they didn't get a proper match with Charlotte and Alexa because Blake Monroe was there and caused a distraction. So I would love to see this match again. Some in the future, whether that's on a Saturday Night Main Event or PLE or Smackdown or whatnot. I definitely want to see this again at some point because yeah, like I've said, it was a very, very enjoyable tag team match. I'm resuming on Tuesday. Saruka and Blake Monroe are going to have a one-on-one match, but I'm not quite sure if that's been announced. I think it has actually. I think they have already had. I think it's already been announced that on Tuesday they will go one-on-one with each other, and that was announced last week. So, well, this week, last week. So I think they already have a one-on-one match, but if not, then I presume that will be official on Tuesday, or maybe they do it at Halloween Havoc, that is next Saturday. Next Saturday. So I would love to see them two in a match though, because that match between Zara and Blake Monroe on NXT that's just happened was very enjoyable to watch. So I would definitely love to see Blake versus Zara for sure. So I can see that being where they go next. The next thing I wrote down is the US Open Challenge. Nick Aldis was saying that Sammy wasn't going to have a US Open Challenge because he wanted to give Shinsuke Nakamura a proper match and a rematch because of obviously what happened with the MFTs last time, with them causing a disqualification by attacking Shinsuke and Sammy. But Shinsuke's still in Japan, so Sammy wasn't booked to be on the show, even though they kind of made a bit of a mistake because they already, during the match between Charlotte, Alexa and Zahara and Zoruka, they put up on the screen in the corner that Sami Zayn is going to be doing a US Open Challenge tonight. It's live. So they already pre-announced that before this whole segment with Sammy, The Miz and Nick Aldis. So I already knew that he was going to have a match because they already told us that he was. So I think that was a bit of a mistake on WWE's point, but oh well. So yeah, we had the US Open Challenge. The Miz did answer it at first because he was backstage with Sammy when Sammy was demanding a US Open Challenge. But then Carmelo attacked The Miz from behind, and we're definitely getting a mini feud or a long feud or whatever, how long it's going to be feud with The Miz and Carmelo Hayes. And I am down for it. I am very, very down for it because it gives The Miz something to do, it gives Carmelo something to do. We're seeing The Miz on the screen, we're seeing Carmelo on the screen, we're seeing a feud that hasn't, that doesn't need to be for a title, for a change, like a bit different. So I'm down for it. But yeah, Carmelo did attack The Miz from behind, and the Mad Dragon was the one to answer the call to Sammy's US Open Challenge, and Ilya Dragunov is back in WWE after 14 months, I think it was, or 13 months, something like that. I think it was just under 13 months, or just let's say just over a year, if that's a bit easier. Just over a year injury with his ACL. You can see the scar on his kneecap when he's laying on the mat, and it zooms in on his knee. Oh, you can still see the scar, but obviously he wears like a heavy brace to keep his knee still intact and protected, because an ACL injury is quite serious. But yeah, Ilya Dragunov is back in WWE, and we got Sami Zayn versus Ilya Dragunov for the US Championship, and oh my god, this match was absolutely incredible. Before I even speak about this match, I did end up giving this match a low 5 out of 5 because it was so fucking good. Like, so good. I would love to see it again, like, for sure. Um, Definitely, 100%. We had loads of German suplex. It was a very, very 50-50 match. Nasty TDT to the middle rope by Sami Zayn. Like, he landed, like, right on his shoulder in the middle rope and then dropped to the floor, like very like hardly hardly. That doesn't make sense. Very hard on the floor. Yeah, looked nasty. They were slapping the shit out of each other for the majority of this match, like giving chops, just slapping each other. Insane. We had so many near falls, signatures and finishes by both Ilya and Sami Zayn. But because of a distraction by Solo Sikoa, Sammy was looking at the top of the ramp. He did end up doing the back suplex. I think that's what it's called, back suplex onto the ropes. But Ilya Dragunov was able to come back, do his finisher, the headbutt. I can't remember what it was called, and then I can't remember what his finisher is called either because it's been like almost a year since he's done that finisher. But the one where he like stands up and he just elbows you straight in the fucking neck. That is one of my favourite finishes ever, and I've missed that finisher, but can't remember what it was called. I'll need to have a double check on that one. And Ilya Dragunov is the new United States champion. What? Like, I wasn't expecting it. Like 3% of me was expecting Ilya to win because I was kind of thinking in my head, why would they bring Ilya Dragunov back in a United States Championship match and he's going to lose on his first match back from a long injury? I was a bit like, are they really going to make Ilya Dragunov lose his first match in almost, just over a year out of injury? Like, you would expect him to, like, return. If they don't want him to lose a match, you would expect him to return, like, during somebody, like, getting, like, beaten down, or maybe he came back as a heel and attacked somebody or something. But he just came back doing the US Championship, so I was open challenge. So I was like, 3% of me was like, possibly Ilya Dragunov's winning here, but not a lot of me thought that because I'm loving, and I think everyone's loving, and I think creatively wise, everyone's loving that Sami Zayn's constantly doing this US Open Challenge matches because it's something on Smackdown every week that everybody is happy about. And loads of wrestlers backstage are getting opportunities because Sammy's constantly doing his US Open challenges every week because that's the type of character and wrestler that Sami Zayn is. So now we're not going to get that anymore, which is the only disappointing thing about Ilya Dragunov winning, because I don't feel, I mean, they potentially could still do it, but I don't feel that it works with Ilya's character for him to do like US Open challenges weekly that Sammy does, well did. So I don't feel it's gonna work. Um, don't get me wrong, I am beyond happy that Ilya Dragunov is the new United States champion. Like 100%, I'm down for it, and I'm intrigued to see what matches and feuds that he has and who he loses it to and where they're going from here with Sami Zayn no longer being United States champion, and what they're now doing with Sami Zayn is a bit confusing. I'm presuming maybe War Games. I don't know though, because I don't know. The men's War Games is very difficult. Like I have wrote like 3 different Survivor Series War Games, and I'm not ready to film it yet because I feel like it's a bit too, maybe a bit too early. Um, kind of want to see what happens over the next like couple of Raws and Smackdowns first, but the women's War Games is so easy to book, but the men's side of things is so difficult because are they gonna do like John Cena, Roman Reigns, CM Punk, LA Knight, and Jey Uso, or are they gonna do Jimmy Uso, Jey Uso, LA Knight, CM Punk, and Roman Reigns versus Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed, and 3 others, maybe 3 people from SmackDown, maybe Tala Tonga, Jason Mateo, and Solo Sikoa, maybe on that side of things. Maybe that's the War Games that they do, or are they gonna do the Wyatt Six versus the MFTs in War Games, or are they going to do some of the Wyatt Six and some of the MFTs, and then Sami Zayn, Shinsuke, and Rey Fenix are part of Uncle Howdy and Eric Rowan's team, and then Jason Mateo, Talatonga, Bron Breakker, Bronson Reed, and somebody else, maybe another MFT, so Tamatonga, maybe, or Solo Sikoa, part of that team, and then Roman and Punk and John Cena maybe goes 1-on-1 with Dominic Mysterio, and Punk, LA, Jay, Jimmy, and Roman, like, and Braun maybe have like a 6-pack championship match or something, or an elimination match, or a fatal 6-way or something for the World Heavyweight Championship if Seth is having to relinquish it. I don't know. I don't know what they're doing with all of these people that are meant to be and rumoured to be on War Games. I really don't know what they're doing for War Games for the men's side of things and how they're fitting everybody in, considering what they're building up on SmackDown with the MFTs and Wyatt Six, but then also Roman and Punk and being on the War Games poster. So it's just, I just can't see them leaving out Roman Reigns and CM Punk. So I honestly don't know what they're doing for War Games. Like, I really, really don't know. But, which is good because for the past year, WWE has been so predictable with PLEs more the majority of the time, with matches and winners and stuff. But this Survivor Series, considering we've got 6 weeks today to build it up, I there's so many different ways the men's War Games can go, and there's a lot of different ways that the women's War Games could go as well. But honestly, it's the most confusing War Games in a while. So I really don't know what they're planning, but yeah. But I'm, like I said, I'm very excited that Ilioff is the US Open Challenge. Gonna miss the Open Challenges that Sami Zayn does weekly. But yeah, no, that was unexpected. And plus, he'd only won that championship on the 5th of September, Sami Zayn. So, no. Oh, no, he won it before that, but he done an open, started the Open Challenges on the 5th of September. So, I think he won it in like August sometime, early August sometime. Yeah. Did he win? Oh no, he had a match with Carrington Cross at SummerSlam, didn't he? So no, he must have won it like a few weeks after, like in the middle of August sometime. Yeah, must have done. But yeah, no, he's only been champion for what, like 6 weeks, 6-7 weeks. That's quite a short championship reign for Triple H, because Triple H likes to do long champions, reigns. So I was really not expecting it at all. Like I said, only 3% of me was, but after Ilioff has won the US Championship, the MFTs came in and brutally attacked Sami Zayn and Ilya Dragunov. The MFTs and Solo attacked Ray Phoenix earlier on in the night. He came down to try and save Ilya Dragunov and Sami Zayn, but ended up getting beaten down as well. Solo done like a mini promo in the ring, and then Uncle Howdy appeared on the screen. He done about come through the door. I don't know if that's, I'm presuming that's meaning War Games. I think we are getting the Wyatt Six and MFTs in a War Games match. Which I don't know if I'm down for that. I don't know. I wouldn't mind MFTs in the War Games, but I don't know if I'm down for the Wyatt Six, because I just don't know if it will suit them, and I don't know. But I'm assuming that's what he meant by come through the door. So I think we're getting that War Games, but I don't know. Yeah, and the other members of the Wyatt Six appeared from behind. They had like a standoff in the ring like they done on last week's SmackDown, and then the MFTs left the ring again. So yeah, I'm presuming this is where we're going for War Games, but like I said, I really don't know what's happening. I really don't know. And then the last thing that that happened on SmackDown that I wrote down, like I said, there's a lot of more things that happened on last night's SmackDown, but a lot of it wasn't like worthy to speak about. So I've only wrote down stuff that I want to speak about, obviously. We did have another match though. We did have a match between Motor City Machine Guns and Los Garza, because Motor City Machine Guns, when they made their debut a year ago, they beat Los Garza, and they were doing a segment backstage, like celebrating their 1 year anniversary in WWE, and then Los Garza interrupted, and that led to a match, and a very decent match, but I didn't end up writing that match down. But yeah, we were going to have a main event between Jacob Fatu and Drew McIntyre, but it was reported a couple of days ago that Jacob was dealing with a non-wrestling injury. I don't know if he rides bikes or something and he's had a motorbike accident that he's injured himself, or he's, I don't know, decorating his house and fell. I don't know what he's done, but he has injured himself, and it's quite a serious injury apparently that's going to lead quite a bit into 2026. So don't know what Jacob's done, but he's out indefinitely, and they done an angle, because I was a bit confused, because earlier on in the night, before we speak about what happened, Jacob and Cody met up with each other in backstage, and Drew was standing behind them, very far behind them, but was standing right behind them. Jacob said about that he's gonna, when he wins the main event tonight, he's coming after Cody Rhodes, and they shook hands and everything. And then later on in the night, when Jacob's music hit, he didn't show up for ages. I was like, oh, okay, because I was a bit confused, because I was like, okay, Jacob, we're doing a number one contendership, because it was announced at the beginning of SmackDown that we were getting a number one contendership between Drew McIntyre and Drew and Jacob Fatu, and the winner goes on to face Cody Rhodes at Saturnight's main event. And then Jacob done a mini segment with Cody Rhodes. So I was like, okay, so Jacob's not injured. Jacob done a mini segment with Cody Rhodes. Did I just say Drew? No, I think I said Jacob. I was like, okay, so Jacob can't be injured then. Maybe the sources are going around are incorrect, because it does happen a lot. So okay, maybe Jacob's not injured. And then obviously Jacob's music hit, entrance music hit. He didn't show up, and then I was like, oh, okay, no, he is injured. And then we cut to backstage of Jacob bleeding all over the floor with his teeth on the floor. I don't know what the hell that was on the floor, but some stuff on the floor anyway. And was brutally attacked by somebody. I mean, they could be painting a picture that it was Drew McIntyre because of him standing backstage, but I feel like that's too obvious for it to be Drew McIntyre. And plus, Drew McIntyre would want to beat him in the ring, in front of his hometown, hometown of California. So I don't think it's Drew, and I think if we had a brawl backstage between Drew and Jacob, the cameras would be there, because like I said, Drew would want to beat the living shit out of Jacob on camera. I don't feel he would want to do it behind the scenes, and I also think that Drew being in the background makes me believe that it's not Drew McIntyre, because I feel like that's just too obvious, and it's not a Drew thing to do. I know it's a Drew thing to attack somebody, but I mean, like, it's not a Drew thing to do it off camera. He would do it either in the ring, or the cameras would catch him beating the living shit out of Jacob, because he would be right there on the scene, but he wasn't. I mean, if they're planning on doing CM Punk versus Cody Rhodes for the WWE Undisputed Championship at WrestleMania 42, maybe it was Randy Orton. And they are, when Jacob hopefully is able to return before WrestleMania, maybe they're planning on doing a feud with the Samoan Werewolf versus the Viper in Randy Orton, because that I would be very, very down for, because it would be like a past rivalry that Randy Orton's had, that's, you know, with someone that's related to Jacob's family. So, in Umaga. So, I feel like they could be going down that route, you know? It could have been Randy Orton delivering the punt to Jacob Fatu. I mean, it would be devastating to not see that on live TV, but that could possibly be where they've gone. It might have been Randy Orton, and then Randy Orton's going to act like a babyface until Jacob comes back, and then we realise that it was actually Randy Orton that brutally attacked Jacob Fatu, and then we finally got heel Randy Orton, and then maybe we get Jacob Fatu versus Randy Orton at WrestleMania 42, and then maybe Cody Rhodes retains the WWE Championship at WrestleMania, possibly, and then he goes on to face Randy Orton at SummerSlam. Maybe, I don't know. Like, maybe that's what they're going down, or it was Cody Rhodes that attacked Jacob Fatu, because he was worried that he would lose his championship to Jacob if Jacob was to win this number one contendership, because obviously he's been attacked by Jacob in the past, and he knows how dangerous Jacob Fatu is, and maybe he was too worried to lose his championship to Jacob, so he brutally attacked Jacob before his match, because he knows that he can beat Drew McIntyre, because he beat Drew McIntyre at WrestlePalooza. So maybe he wanted to go down the easier option of facing Drew McIntyre, because he knows he's already beaten him, but doesn't know if he can beat Jacob Fatu, because he recently just lost to a one-armed Seth Rollins. So, and he also came dressed in black, and that was not a usual Cody Rhodes look. I know he's done it in the past, but I don't know. Something felt different about this Cody Rhodes. Like, he felt, over the last like a month, or no, not month, even longer now. After the last, like, I'd say 2.5 months, Cody's been like slowly like turning heel, but not actually being a heel. Like, in his promos, he's been a lot angry. When he's wrestling people, he's being a lot angry. He's losing his temper a lot more. And he just, I don't know, he looks and just seems different to the Cody that we're all used to when he first came back to WWE. So is this a Cody Rhodes heel turn? But we don't know that it's Cody Rhodes yet, so it could have been Drew McIntyre for all we know. It could have been Randy Orton. It could have been the MFTs. It could have been the Wyatt Six. Like, it could have been anyone. But it could have been Ilya Dragunov. We don't know. But what if it was Cody Rhodes that brutally attacked Jacob Fatu, and Cody has turned heel, but we don't actually see the on-screen heel Cody yet, but we will do when it comes out who actually attacked Jacob Fatu, because I think what they could go on here is that Drew McIntyre and Cody have a feud for the next like month or so, and during that feud, Cody is constantly bringing up the fact that Drew took out Jacob, and maybe Drew's able to get CCTV footage of what actually happened, and it comes to terms that it was Cody Rhodes this whole time. Maybe they do something along the lines of that, like what they done for WrestleMania when Carlito took out Dragon Lee, I think it was, and had to be replaced for WrestleMania 40, I think it was. So maybe they do something along that lines, like they're trying to figure out who it was that attacked Jacob, and because Drew's denying it, and then Drew is able to get CCTV footage of what actually happened that night that Jacob got attacked, because he wants to prove that it wasn't him. Maybe that's what happens. Maybe. So maybe it was Cody Rhodes this whole time. But yeah, Drew came out demanding that he was the #1 contender because obviously Jacob wasn't fit to wrestle in the main event. Nick Aldis came out and said, if I find out that it was you that attacked Jacob Fatu, there is going to be serious consequences. Cody then came out really angry that he had let the WWE audience down of a #1 contender match, so demanded that we have a match right now in a suit, because Cody wrestled in a suit, for the WWE Undisputed Championship. They ended up brawling all over the arena, and then they eventually made it into the ring, and the bell was rang, and it was made official that we had a main event of SmackDown for the WWE Undisputed Championship. It ended up being about 5 minutes in the ring wise, maybe even less than that. But it was a very weird but good ending to SmackDown, because it felt very weird that, for one, we didn't get a proper main event. For two, Cody was wrestling in a suit. For three, it was the WWE Undisputed Championship, I think, anyway. And it was short and just a bit all over the place, but in a good way, because SmackDown hasn't ended like that in a very, very long time. So it was enjoyable to watch, but very like, what the fuck is going on? And again, Cody wrestled in a suit. What the fuck? And when the suit was like unbuckled and he was like, his hair was like all spiky and he looked really like serious and kind of heelish, it kind of reminded me of Dashing Cody Rhodes. And I miss Dashing Cody Rhodes. I think that personally for me, Dashing Cody Rhodes is my favourite Cody Rhodes character of all times. I know a lot of people's is the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes, because obviously he's at top of WWE, he's champion and all that. Sorry, I've got a bit of phlegm stuck in my throat, so it's making me like my nose like tickle. So sorry if I keep doing like weird facial expressions and weird sounds in my nose, but that's why. But yeah. Anyways, but personally for me, I love Dashing Cody Rhodes. I got to see Dashing Cody Rhodes in 2012 in a dark match, and with his old entrance theme, "Let everybody's here, the future here with me." Like, that's fucking theme song was so goated. So yeah, I kind of got a little glimpse of like Dashing Cody Rhodes there, or slash undashing Cody Rhodes, which is very intriguing. But I could be right, with what happened at the end of SmackDown. I meant to use my mic and I completely forgot, because the quality sounded so better with the mic, but I've completely forgot to use it. I've just noticed it on my desk. Oh well. But yeah, I'm very intrigued to see if we get to see the CCTV footage of what actually happened with Jacob. But yeah, Cody ended up hitting Jacob. No, he didn't. Well, he might have, but no, he ended up hitting Drew McIntyre with the belt, which is also another heelish thing to do. Like, Cody Rhodes cheated to win pretty much by hitting Drew McIntyre with the belt, and he just went cuckoo. Like, he just lost his marbles and just, yeah, went really crazy at the end of SmackDown and very heelish. Yeah, and was about to hit the crossroads on the announce table, but he was pulled off an out table and pulled away from Drew McIntyre by all the WWE officials and security. But then got away and ended up doing a dive onto the security and Drew McIntyre, and then they were pulled away again. Well, Drew was pulled away. Yeah, I'm presuming because Cody cost Drew the Undisputed Championship by hitting him across the face with it, and Drew wasn't ready to have a #1 contender. Drew wasn't ready to have a WWE Championship right then and there. He was ready to not have a match at all, or a #1 contender match. That he will now use the excuse that he wasn't ready and that Cody cheated. That I can definitely see them now doing that at Saturday Night's Main Event. possibly, because obviously that's next Saturday. So I'm assuming they'll go down that route, or they will leave it until Survivor Series, and we'll get Drew McIntyre versus Cody Rhodes at Survivor Series instead. That's possibly two ways we're going here, because definitely Drew's going to get his rematch, but will it be at SmackDown's main event, or will it be at Survivor Series? I don't know. But yeah, guys, that was the end of SmackDown last night. A very weird but good end SmackDown to end SmackDown last night. But yeah, I don't feel like I've already said, I don't feel like it was as good as Raw's after Crown Jewel, but I do still feel it was good. I'm excited to see what happens on SmackDown's main event, because apparently it's on Peacock, not NBC, which when it's on NBC we normally get adverts like every 5 minutes, but considering the fact that it's on Peacock, which is WWE outlet in America, TV like outlet in America, is that right? Channel, sorry, TV channel in America that doesn't do ads, so for their PLEs. So I'm presuming that we're not gonna get hang on guys. Sorry, I'm trying to get this fucking phlegm out my throat, but it didn't work. But yeah, considering that it's on Peacock, I'm assuming we're going to get no ads. So I'm very intrigued to see how this Saturday night's main event plans out next week. Like I said, I do have a Saturday night's main event early prediction video coming out at some point next week. Because I'll probably do it after the Raw episode. And then I don't know, because I don't know, I might not do a Saturday night's main event early prediction, to be honest with you, because it's next Saturday. Is it next? No, it's not. It's the Saturday after. It's 2 weeks Saturday. 2 weeks today. Saturday night's main event. I'm thinking that it's next Saturday, but it's not. So yeah, no, there will be a Saturday night's, early Saturday night's main event prediction video next week, because it's 2 weeks today. I don't know why I had it as the 1st of November next Saturday, but it's not. It's the 25th. Yeah, 25th. So I don't know. So yeah, no, there will be a early Saturday night's main event prediction video out next week, and also there will be my final part to the wrestlers that I've seen live video as well, coming out at some point next week, and then obviously the Raw review, I resume, yeah, probably, and then SmackDown review next week as well. So a lot of videos coming out in the next week and a half, so look forward to those. But anyways, guys, that was the end of my SmackDown review. Do you agree with me that SmackDown last night was a 5 out of 5? Or do you believe it was good? Could have been a bit better, so you gave it a 4 out of 5? Or do you believe it was a decent show? There was a few moments that you enjoyed, but you don't feel it was a good show or a fantastic show, so you gave it a 3 out of 5? Or did you believe it was meh? There was like 1 or 2 things that you really enjoyed, so you gave it 2 out of 5 because you felt bad giving it a 1? Or do you believe that this was the worst SmackDown of the year? You wish the SmackDown never happened, and you will never go back and watch anything to do with this SmackDown, and you gave it a 1 out of 5. So yeah, let me know in the comments down below. And yeah, guys, this has been Charlie, and I will see you guys in the next one.